What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sig vs. Sig. This is going to be another tobacco history video, but this is going to be my dipping history. Today, I've already got one in my lip, but I'm dipping Grizzly Wintergreen. And the can designs on these, they're, I'm not a big fan of that can design there. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, but I like the original Grizzly can design over this, for sure, or the camo Grizzly, because the can designs that they're doing right now, it's just kind of weird. It's different, to say the least. But so let's jump right into this. The first dip I've ever had, I was 13 years old, and what it was at first is I had those Camel Snooze, and what's funny about it is, like I said, I had nothing, like I had no idea how to dip. I had like no clue how to dip, and the first dip I ever had was Camel Snooze pouches, the snus or snooze, however you say it. But I had two cans of that. I had the Frost and I had the Mellow, and I would say I like the Frost better just because it tastes like, I mean, I wouldn't say, I'm not sure, I think it tastes kind of like spearmint, if I remember correctly. It's been so long since I've had them, but what I did, because like I had no idea how to dip, so what I did was I opened the packages and I would just put the tobacco in my lip, and I was wondering, I was like, what the hell's going on with this? Like, what? I don't feel anything. Little did I know, because being a little 13-year-old kid I was, you were just supposed to pop the pouch in your upper lip and just dip on that, which of course the little Camel Snooze pouches don't really have any nicotine. And Camel's not known for their dip anyway, they're known for their cigarettes. These are Camel Crush menthols here. But I do dip and I do smoke, and I'm going to encourage you guys to subscribe to my channel and go follow me on Instagram at Sig vs. Sig, just one word, Sig vs. Sig on Instagram. I have some pictures and stuff on there. I don't really post a whole lot on there, but I encourage you guys to go follow me. So anyway, like I said, I had these Camel Snooze cans, and I finally learned that you were just supposed to pop the pouch in your lip, and so I just started doing that, and my gums like started like towards the top. They got white after a while because I would just like dip those because they're so convenient. Like, you can just pop one in to the very back, no one can see it, and you don't even have to spit. That's the cool thing about snooze, because you don't have to spit at all. Like when you swallow it, I mean, it don't even burn, and they're tiny. They're tiny little pouches too, so I mean, you know, you're not gonna swallow a shit ton of nicotine or anything like that. But so fast forwarding a little bit, the first actual dip I ever had, like of tobacco dip, was Wintergreen, and at the time I didn't know what the hell Wintergreen was. I thought it was just like a flavored dip. I didn't know it was actually a flavor of anything. Come to find out, like, they have wintergreen flavored gum and stuff like that, and like I said, I was like 13, so I didn't really know. I was just now starting to use tobacco. But it was the first dip I ever had was Grizzly Wintergreen, and the first time I put it in my lip, I'll never forget it, because like I'm sitting there and I'm spitting, and I remember it was at school. I was in the bathroom at school, and all of a sudden, like, I just feel dizzy. Because, you know, Grizzly Wintergreen has, like, the highest nicotine content of, like, the Grizzly series or anything like that. So, you know, it was, like, I was buzzing like crazy. It felt so good. And so, obviously, I wanted to keep dipping. So, I did. Because at the time, I was 13, and I couldn't get, you know, dip or anything. So, I just, I would just bum off my friends, like, at lunch, in the bathroom or something like that. I just bum. This is, you know, classic high school stuff when you first start dipping, you know. You think it's all cool and everything. You think you're cool because you dip and all that stuff. But, you know, I've always enjoyed tobacco. Like, it's always been a hobby for me. I know that that's not really a good hobby to have, but it has always been a hobby for me. And it got to the point where, like, I like dipping so much because of the buzz I got from it. Because, like, I obviously wasn't dipping enough to be immune to the buzz. It got to the point where I would actually sit and dip in class, and it was so funny because, like, I remember it was a second hour, and it was my science class, and I had Mr. Bunch, and yeah, it was my teacher's name, and I would just sit there and, like, I'd get a dip from someone before I got into class, and it was funny because, like, I would just keep it right here where it's at right now, and I know you can kind of see it. I didn't get like a big enough pinch to where it's like my lip was like sticking out or anything, but and like I would just sit in class and I would gut it. I would gut my spit. It was funny, and like I didn't ever get caught. Like I dipped in the classes that the teachers were like, if they caught you dipping, then you know they'd obviously send you to the principal's office and all that, and that they watched for that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was funny because like I would just sit there and gut it. Like I used to do that all the time. I don't do that anymore. I smoke primarily now. I dip every now and then, but I would just sit there and gut it, like, and it was just, I can't believe I never got caught. It was so weird because like it wasn't a small pinch, but it wasn't like a huge pinch, and I just kept it like right here, and I would just sit there and just gut it, and I would sit there getting the buzz while the teacher was like calling roll, and like I'd say my name, and it was so funny because like I was so nervous. And that was like my 8th grade year. Like I said, I was like 13. And, you know, so me and my buddies, like I wasn't the only one that dipped in class. I knew people that did it, and they said, dude, you know, you'll be fine, just gut it. I was like, okay. So I started gutting it. And like it burned and stuff, my throat, but at the time, I don't know, I want to dip so bad that it didn't really bother me as much. But, so I just got to the point where I liked it so much that I would just do it in class. And I remember my 6th hour, I was in a reading class, and it was still 8th grade year, and I would dip in my reading teacher's class, and she's like really anti-tobacco. So like if she caught you like using tobacco, you know, she'd make a big deal about it and all that stuff. But I would just sit there in reading class, dipping, gutting my spit, and it was I just can't believe I never got caught. Like really. I mean, nowadays I won't ever dip in class just because I don't want to get caught, because I have a little bit more common sense now than I did back then. But, you know, I would just sit there and just gut it. And then I remember one time, fast forward to my freshman year, and me and my friends, like, at this time I was actually buying cigarettes. Every time I'd get money, I'd just buy cigarettes. So, like, I know this is a dipping history, but we would go, like, at lunch, and we would go past, before the duty teachers got out there, we'd go all the way down the walkway out to the parking lot, go behind our band room back there, and back behind, there was a trailer back behind that band room. We would just go back there and fucking smoke. And one day someone told on us, but they said that like if they ever caught us going back there, because they didn't have any proof, because like we didn't, like I had the cigarettes stuffed in my I had the cigarettes stuffed in my socks. So, like, obviously they didn't know I had cigarettes. And all they said was, if we catch y'all going back there again, anytime during lunch, we'd be expelled. So, needless to say, I didn't go back there anymore. But, anyway, I was dipping in my 6th hour, my freshman year, and I was, you know, spitting in a Mountain Dew bottle just like this. And, I don't remember it was like, I think it was like Longhorn Natural Fine Cut, which is the most terrible dip you can ever have, but I just wanted to dip. So there was this one girl in there that could not stand people dipping. And at the time, the teacher that I had was, she quit her job, so we had a substitute, and I remember the substitute was in there, and I was just, you know, sitting there dipping, and I wasn't the only one. One of my pals was dipping too, dipping the same exact thing, because I bummed it off of him. And he was sitting there spitting in the bottle. And of course, you know, my desk was like away, so I would face away from the teacher, act like I'm talking to people, and then just like spit, and I'd have it. Well, the girl that was like, she was sitting right there, and like I spit, and then the substitute teacher had just walked in, and she was yelling at me, not the other guy for doing it. She didn't say nothing about him, but like me, she's like, if I see you spit one more fucking time. And then, so she said that right as the fucking substitute walked in, and he asked me if I was dipping, and I was like, no. He said, really, come out here and show me. And I went out there, I said, all right, I'm dipping. And then he said, all right, well, go spit it out and go to the office. So what I did is I went in that bathroom and there, spit it out, and I acted like I was going up to the office, but there's another set of bathrooms, like, right across from the office. And so what I did was I acted like I was going to the office, looked back to see if he was in there, and then he went back in the classroom, so I jetted over to those bathrooms, and I waited in there for about 20 minutes, and then I just walked back to class, and then just said that Mr. Burt gave me detention because like he's our principal, and so I didn't get caught. That's basically what I'm saying. So dipping in school is very risky, but I've had some funny stories with dip, and I mean, I remember we were going on a band trip, and I think I was a sophomore at this time, and my friend Wyatt, he's a huge dipper, and so like we were just riding up on the bus on the way up there, and he had Grizzly Straight. No, we were. It wasn't a band competition. We were going to see Doc Severinsen. It was a jazz band trip that we went and took, and we went up to Tulsa or somewhere, I don't remember, and seen Doc Severinsen. And so anyway, I was just sitting there, dipping on the bus, and I didn't have anything to spit in. So like I know some of you guys look down on this, but I have a lot more common sense now than I did back then. But I was just like spitting on the bus floor, and just basically just dipping because like I wanted to dip. And I mean, so like I said, I've had some funny stories dipping. But some of you guys out there can gut your dip, and like I said, I used to could do that, but I can't do it now because like I quit dipping for a long time just because of that, because I got so sick of that. And another time we were, and this is back in 8th grade year, we were at Incredible Pizza on another band trip. My friend Dakota, before he graduated, he was graduating that year. I had a can of Copenhagen pouches, and I know some of you guys look down on that too, but like I said, I was 8th grade. And that's all I had because like my friend just gave them to me because he didn't want them. And who's gonna turn down a free can of dip? I mean, I'm sure as hell not. So we were at Incredible Pizza, and I was like, "Hey man, you got them pouches?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he handed me the pouches, and I take them and I get a pouch out, put it in my upper lip, and then we go play laser tag, and I'm just playing laser tag with a fucking pouch in my lip, being an 8th grader, and I was just like, spitting on the floor in there while we were playing laser tag. And once the game was over, I just took the pouch in my mouth and just threw it somewhere. I don't even remember where it landed, but I threw it somewhere. And just stuff like that. And like I said, like it gets to, like, dipping is way more convenient than smoking, because smoking, like, when you try to hide it from your parents, you gotta like spray yourself down or open a window and all that kind of crap. And you gotta find an opportunity to go out and smoke, because it lets off smell and all that kind of stuff. But dipping, what I'll do most of the time if I need to dip, what I'll do is I'll go in there, lock both the bathroom doors, because we have 2 ways to get in my bathroom at the house. And so I would lock both the doors, and I get me a cup, some sort of cup, like a bottle like this or something like that, and I would just take a bath in the bathtub and just dip in the bathtub or the shower on the other side of the house, either way. But so, I mean, like, there's many ways that you can dip and get away with it. But I just can't believe that I got away with dipping in school and gutting it when I'd have the dip, like, right here. I just couldn't believe I got away with it, but I did. And I'm so glad I did. But, yeah, there's been times where I did get caught, though, and I'll tell you about that here in a minute. One time I got a can from my buddy. I got it from the guy that gets me the dip. And then I gave the can of dip to him. I was like, well, since I'm getting the can of dip for you, you got to give me a pinch. So we were in the bathroom, and it was lunch, and this was my 8th grade year, going back to my 8th grade year again. And basically, like, it was Grizzly Wintergreen wide cut. I don't even know if they have wide cut anymore, but they had wide cut back then. And what I did, I just wanted a dip so bad, so I just, like, took, like, 5 pinches and put, like, 5 big-ass pinches in my lips. So my lip was, like, sticking out, like, far. And then my principal walks in there in the bathroom, and he said, all right, guys, get a move on. We, can't be in here all day. Because he goes in there pretty frequently during lunch, because he knows that kids go in there and dip or whatever in there. And so basically he went in there, and I had this dip in my lip, and my lip was sticking out. And instead of going to the urinal and acting like I was urinating, I decided that I was going to go out the door where he was at. And so he said, Mr. Tram, were you dipping? I said, no, sir. He said, you lying? I said, yes, sir. He said, in my office. So I go down there, and like I said, I had 5 big-ass pinches of Grizzly Wintergreen wide cut in my lip. So I'm buzzing on the way down to his office, and I'm just sitting in his office, like, sitting there dipping, like spitting in his trash can, waiting for him to get there and give him my punishment or whatever for dipping. And so, yeah, I mean, I got caught that day, needless to say. He called my parents, all that kind of stuff. Um, but and then I remember there's this one time I was dipping outside because we have this little. Back when I used to go over there, I don't go over there anymore, but towards the side, you got the walkway that goes out that way, and then you got this side thing out by the front of the high school where you can see in the windows of all the classes, but the blinds were down, so like the teachers didn't see. And like this was the point where Mr. Burke got tired of everybody dipping. Like, he's the principal, and he got tired of putting up with everybody dipping and everything. So he would always go over there and see if everyone was dipping. But one time I had a pretty decent sized lip of Copenhagen straight in, and he goes over there, and as soon as he goes over there, like, my friend's like, Bert, 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 tapping on me, and I was like, oh shit. So I'm sitting here and I'm throwing that shit out of my mouth, spitting, and dips flying everywhere all over the fucking grass. And I swallowed some of it, and the bad thing about swallowing dip is like your heart, it feels like your heart's like burns. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you got a major ass heartburn and there's something like on your heart. And so I almost got caught, but I didn't. And then one time, I had a chew of like Levi Garrett in. It's either Levi Garrett or Red Band. I'm pretty sure it's Levi Garrett. But so I had that back here, and I was chewing on it a little bit and spitting. And then my teacher, Mr. Bunce, that I used to dip in his class, his science class, my 8th grade year, he goes over there and he's like, "Y'all go on before I catch you," because he knew we were dipping. I mean, he don't really make a huge deal about it. So I guess that's why I didn't get in trouble for his class. But there's some classes that I can't believe I didn't get caught. Because like if I got caught in those classes, there'd been hell to pay. But yeah. So, I mean, it was like, there's some teachers that don't really care if you dip. They won't make a big deal about it. But, you know, other teachers do. And if, obviously, the principal catches you, you know, you're going to get in trouble with whatever. And it's an automatic, like every time you dip at my school, it's an automatic 3-day suspension. And this is my senior year this year, so I mean, I've been through a lot my high school year with tobacco and stuff. The majority of the times I didn't get caught, but there's been some times that I did. But I think that's with everybody. I mean, I think everybody gets caught at least once. And then there's this one kid who's like so dumb. I don't know what he's trying to prove or who he's trying to impress, but he'll sit there and dip right next to his teacher. Like, his desk is right next to her fucking desk. Like, where our computer's at and her papers, all that stuff. And he'll just take that trash can that's right by her desk and be like, spitting in her trash can right there while she's sitting there on her computer. So needless to say, he got caught being a dumbass. Like, if you be a dumbass like that, you're going to get caught. I mean, I never done anything stupid like that. I got caught because, like, either people ratted me out or because the principal walked in on me in the bathroom. So what I'll do now is if I'm dipping at school, I'll go in there, put a dip in the stall, and lock the door, act like I'm taking a shit. Because if the principal walks in, he's not going to go back there and, like, open the door while you're taking a shit. So it's a pretty good plan. I mean, if he does say get out, then all you have to do is spit the dip out and then make sure there's none in your teeth and then go out there and talk to him. So, like I said, I mean, dipping in school, it's risky depending on what you do. I mean, if you're dipping in class and gutting it, like I said, there's some teachers that don't really give a shit. But, I mean, it's still pretty risky in some classes, so you got to be careful. But that was my dipping history, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel and go follow me on Instagram at Sig vs. Sig. And thank you guys for watching and take care.